Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the SCR Racing Series. We are in the final race of the winter/fall series. 15 races. This is the final one of the 15 races. Best of 12 in this series count toward the final result. Riders are jumping out on the course right now. And so we are going to be able to cover for you two different feeds today. I'm hoping as the riders do get out on course here. And let's just jump right on into it. I want to welcome to the broadcast as well Mr. Rasan Bahadi coming at us from Zwift HQ. Razan, how's it going over in
Good morning
today?
It's a little brisk, chilly here in Long Beach for our liking, but it's a beautiful day. It's nice and sunny.
The rest of the world might disagree with you, Razan.
I know, so I won't complain.
But definitely a little cold here as well. I think I woke up to -5 degrees. That is Fahrenheit, boys and girls.
Ouch.
So it's definitely. I had to take the garbage out this morning. That was quite a fun. No glove, lots of Christmas things. Well, not the things that we got for Christmas, but the things that came and going out the door. So, Rasan, thanks a lot for joining us. So it looks like it's going to be a fast and furious race out there. Now, what I'm wondering is if we're seeing any of the series leaders out there. I am taking a look here as I move forward amongst these riders in the A category right now. And I'm not seeing, I believe, the series leader out there, Mr. Kim Little out there today. I wonder if he's taken a little bit of a break recently. But he's got it all wrapped up. He's got 12 events in, 241 points.
41 points.
Yeah, the next person, Matt Johnson, 118. Doesn't need to show up on the day, and perhaps saving a little bit of something for some of the other series that he could be a part of, or maybe taking a little break, because that guy has a number of races. I don't know if you knew this, but if you head on over to zwiftpower.com, you can actually see by clicking on the link at the rider's profile, 189 races out on Zwift.
What?
Yeah, so in the month of December, the series leader here did, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 15 races all the way through the CBR World Cup Zone B yesterday, actually. So I think he's taking a break after yesterday, as he took a third place yesterday in that. So it looks like there's a couple of spots open though today, Rasan, to try and
give some other guys a chance to grab some points and make a name for themselves. So like they say, you can't win them all. So it's I think Kim Little is doing a good thing by giving himself a little bit of rest to come out swinging hard again.
Yeah, I think, you know, speaking of like maybe overtraining or over racing, it's definitely something that you can get yourself into if you get a little too much of a racing bug, Rasan.
Oh yeah, it's very easy to overtrain. And actually, I'm a big believer. I don't think you can technically overtrain, but you can definitely under rest. So that's one thing athletes sometimes just don't do a good job at, is at just resting, making sure that the body recovers. That's part of your training. So yeah, hats off to Kim Little for resting and letting the body recoup. Like I said, get ready to battle again.
Yeah, for sure, definitely, and hope to see him. Unless I made a mistake and he's hiding somewhere. All of a sudden he pops up somewhere. It looks like there is a massive amount of B riders actually in and amongst this group. Actually, A's and B's mixed together. Now we are on the Greater London Loop actually, so we'll be seeing almost all of the London roads, I think, out here today. Classic course plus the expansion, the flat expansion onto Fox Hill, and then also into Box Hill. So it's going to be a good race out there today. I think the total on this race here today is going to be 56 kilometers actually, according to, well, that's a London pretzel actually, so that's not correct. I don't believe as far as zwiftpower.com goes, but I do believe it is going to be about an hour of racing, I believe, out here today. So they are taking this. Did they just take a right-hand turn? Yep, right-hand turn.
They take a slight right, yeah.
Yep. And so they're going to be heading directly. This is actually into the new expansion section. And this actually offers one little section of uphill grind that they do have. That's just a little 3% kick, but not very long. The thing about this part of the course, though, is it has a lot of corners once they do get a little further in, so you can get a little out of sight or mind. We're actually seeing M. Roberts here, who's actually a TT specialist in real life. He likes, I do believe he likes TTs a lot, coming out of the UK, and if they let this guy go, he could have a little bit of a field day out the front. So it looks like McLaughlin here is bringing that back in. Were there always those guys who would go off the front that there was like, that's a warning sign, Rasan? Don't want to let that get too far.
Yeah, especially if he's a TT specialist. Those guys are special breeds, and once they get locked in, they do a great job just holding the watts. So I'm pretty sure the group will pay attention to any TT guy, and it's really going to boil down to Box Hill. You know, it's such a tough climb, and they have to go over that thing. So I do see one A rider that we know from California, Mike Davis. I just saw his name pop up. So
really?
I think he's sitting, is he third or fourth overall? So he could possibly move up a spot and take the third spot by maybe getting some points today. So we'll see with that.
Yeah, I was just seeing Davis there. Davis is there. Good to see him back out on course, riding for WBR here, it looks like. I do believe he took the sprint last week that we were watching. So gonna see where he might be staying. Tom Grimshaw, third place. It looks like Mike Davis sitting in fourth place currently.
Yeah.
With it looks like, how many events does he have in actually? It looks like he's got 4 events in, but has done very well in each one of them actually. So racing for WBR. McCormick out there. Casey Shum. Not seeing, I don't believe Casey in the race out there today. We'll see if we can find him. Now there's a huge group of riders though that we're looking at here. And I think it's going to be a little while before they actually have any kind of breakup out on course here. There is one rider struggling just at the back here. Now, here's the thing about this race. As a mass start race, there's a lot of opportunity for some of the B riders to hang on and ride over their usual speed or ability maybe at the front end of this group right now. And so for this flatter section, I have a feeling we might see a lot of riders hanging on until they hit the Fox Hill reverse actually, and then things are really going to break up, I think.
It's a tough hill. I'm not sure if I did Fox Hill or Box Hill. Is there 2 different climbs on this loop?
So you can go reverse and forward actually. Reverse and forward actually of the same hill. Fox Hill is the reverse of what usually people do. Box Hill is the one that flattens out right at the top. You hit the KOM, and then after you hit the KOM banner, you actually have a kick that's like a 13% gradient.
It hurts. I did a group ride this morning with Emily. She was hosting a ride out of her home in Colorado. I came in at headquarters and did it with about 500 other people. One of the Zwift Miss rides, 3 days of Zwift Miss. So that was pretty fun. It was about an hour ride, and it was on the London Loop. So I did that this morning, showered up, and came down to do the live stream.
Very, very familiar then with exactly what you're going to be getting. They're going to be getting into here. If you were doing 500 people were out for that ride this morning. That's amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Pretty cool to see that so many are showing up for the 12s. Well, so what was the exact event this morning that you were a part of?
Yeah, I think it is just 12 days of Zwiftmas, and it's just it's about community. It's about bringing people together, just to enjoy a nice 1-hour ride on Zwift. Talk about some of the new things that Zwift is up to. Emily was answering a lot of questions about expansions, about Android, iPhone, Apple TV, you name it. And it was a chance for people to just pick her brain and say good things, say some constructive things or constructive criticism things. And it was a fun ride. So great platform to interact with the powers that be at Zwift and just to stay engaged with the community.
Did you have a whole bunch of people riding that Zwift then? All the stations taken up?
Nah, not today. I think people still have the holiday hangover. I got in this morning about 6:50, and there wasn't a soul in sight. So I had the whole office to myself.
There you go. There you go. Holidays hangover. So looking toward the front end of this race, though, we have a little bit of attack actually taking place, it looks like, from a rider in a Bumblebee looking kit here. Let me see if I can move forward all the way. It does look like Venstad from the GTD team. Coming out of Norway, 165 beats per minute. A little bit of a kick here, maybe getting a little antsy. You do get those jitters a lot of times in these race situations when it's on the flatter courses. I know I, for sure, when there's no action, tend to like to make things a little bit aggressive. There's no jersey, though, for most aggressive rider. And as we've noticed the last couple of weeks of broadcasting these together with Sun, it's been a lot of riders who've been reserving the energy that have been taking the wins out there.
It's the best way, and today will be even more important with the tough climb and the fast pace that they're going to encounter on the flat. So I think with some of the gems and nuggets we dropped last week, perhaps some of the riders were listening, and maybe we'll try it with their strategy today. And like I said, the hill that they have to go over is going to be very, very tough.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think there's going to be a lot of reservation here before anybody really starts kicking. They know that they have a longer race in front of them here today, so they're going to most likely be holding back. Teselius here coming out of Sweden, riding for that SCR team. He's been their new all-star lately that we've been noticing up toward the front end of these races. And I did see him with a lot of attacks yesterday, actually, in the CVR World Cup Zone E, actually. We'll see if he calms down a little bit up front today and allows the race to come to him rather than maybe trying to activate a little bit too much and burn a little bit too much energy maybe up front here. So looking through here, Nebula is out here today as well. Good to see him. He was actually commenting yesterday he had some sort of a malfunction, so I think he had a flat tire actually on his indoor trainer prior to jumping on, actually. So unable to. It does. Isn't that weird? Have you had a flat tire on your indoor trainer?
No, but I have fallen off. So I'm not sure which is worse. I think I would rather have a flat tire.
I think I've had about 3 or 4 in my total Zwifting times, the flat tires. Now I have swapped over to a wheel off trainer now at this point, so I don't have to worry about that quite as much. I can have a completely flat front tire if I want to, and be just fine. So let's go ahead and jump in with some of the C category riders. Now I'm gonna go, so we know who the series leaders are for the A category. We were just chatting about them a little bit. Kim Little, Matt Johnson, Tom Grimshaw. I don't see Tom out there currently, so he might be giving up a spot actually in the series if Davis is able to have a good race out there today, actually. According to the current rankings right now, there's only 11-point difference between Davis and Grimshaw. So if Davis can grab a solid result out there today, he may be able to bunny hop ahead of Grimshaw, actually, and maybe take some points away and grab a podium spot in the series. So we'll see if Davis can throw down another solid sprint this week and take a few points there to get into that top 3 in the series. But in the B category then, Bart Anderson followed up by Pierre Vidar Alvesberg and then Steve Nordstrom. Now this is a little bit hotter contested series in the 3rd and 4th and 5th places, as we have Rob Pearson, Reezy D, and then Steve Nordstrom all fighting for that 3rd place actually. Pierre Vidar for Vikings, as well as Bard Anderson, they are both 1st and 2nd and pretty much have those spots locked down at this point. So it's going to be, again, a battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Even 6th place could jump up into 3rd with a solid result. We're going to be looking out for Pete Hicks out there, Pa Pearson, Rizzy D, as well as Steve Nordstrom, actually, in the B category. So we'll see if we can spot them at all in and amongst this front group. I'm going to see also over at ZwipPower.com, there are live results of every race, every event that goes on out on Zwift. If you do want to check those live results, head on over to zwiftpower.com and you will be able to see how things are playing out as the race goes on. And I'm going to see if I do spot any of these riders actually out there riding for the Vikings team. Look for that Vikings tag out there. I am not seeing at this point Anderson or I don't think his teammate Alvesberg. And if your guys are out there, let us know. See if we can find them out there. We do have a lot of comments coming through from Twitch, as well as a little bit from Facebook here. At Nathan Guerra, having a flat front tire is worse than it would seem on a direct drive trainer. I agree with you 100% there. Think like you need to be able to put like it's kind of hard indoors to find the leverage and the power, right, Rasan? Like, and the rocking ability even, and to really like give full body motion to give that power. And so when your front tire's bouncing up and down if it's flat, that could be a little bit of a problem as well too, I would think. Yeah,
you might as well hop on a mountain bike, you know. I actually had I didn't put enough air in my tire not too long ago. And yeah, it felt a little funny, but I just didn't want to get off the bike, so I continued to finish the ride. But yeah, you definitely want to have some air in the front tires. It's not as fun.
Not as fun at all. Not as fun at all. So looking through here, I am seeing it is for the C category. We are jumping around a little bit in one of our other feeds here. If I can stick with the C category, I'm seeing Dallin has made it out here today, and he has come out of nowhere in this series and has started to dominate the overalls action. Rickard Johansson has been holding on the first place though with 10 races total. Dallin, with only 7 events, was a latecomer to the series. Almost was able to start challenging for that first place overall. He's got a first, second, first and second. So he's got 3 wins, 3 second places, and then 1 off the podium actually. So Richard Dallin riding for the Vikings team, showing up for 8 races in the series, it looks like out here, and 139 points. Now, him and Magnus Brobach are in a battle right now for that second place position, actually. Magnus with 133 points out there. Only a 6-point difference here, Rasan. I think these guys are going to be thinking a lot about positioning and how can they wait for the right moment and not let, but at the same time, if your competitor that you're in a series with goes, what do? I mean, you're after that.
You have to go with them. You have to go with them 100%, no hesitation. It kind of sucks that you have to follow someone around, but you know, it is a mind game too. So you have to go with the guy who's just ahead of you. It was funny. I tuned in last night and watched Scotty Weiss off the front with another guy. I forget his name, but they were kind of off the front for 15 kilometers. And I started making jokes, kind of commenting. I said, hey, he's right on you. He's playing possum. You got to attack him. And Scotty attacked this guy about 4 or 5 times. And later after the race, he sends me a message. He goes, thanks for the encouragement. I had to attack him more times than I thought. He was strong. So, yeah, it's like you got to just keep going and see what happens. But he finally left a guy on one of the climbs and was able to win solo.
And were there any real-life situations, Rasan, in crit racing where you were series leader or anything like that? Tour America's Dairyland, maybe? Or some other situations where you found yourself maybe, in this kind of a situation where you're needing to chase, needing to follow wheels, you have the man marked, or even found yourself in a situation where you're off the back, and now what do I do? Because my guy's up front that I was supposed to be chasing.
Yeah, I've been in all 3 positions. But speaking of America's Dairyland, I was out there 1 year solo, and this was back when Fly v Australia had a team. Some really good riders on that team. Jonathan Cantwell, who went on to race for Contador's team, whatever team that was, and he raced the Tour de France in his last year. But anyway, I was the leader. I was by myself, and I had to race about 4 different teams. And it just gave me, having the yellow jersey on just gave you like superhuman powers, you know. I was able to chase down every counter, every break, and then I end up winning the race to secure the lead for another few days. And so I don't know, it's something about being the leader. You just have a knack to race even harder. So that was a good experience for me, something I'll never forget.
That's awesome. Really cool. Yeah, and so that must be a difficult day on the bike, though, chasing out there solo amongst these. And that's something also within these races here. There are teams out on Zwift, so relating the real life to the in-game, actually. You know, we've got the Vikings team up toward the front of the race a lot here. They're in that tour of Amgen Tour of California kit. We've got the TFC team a lot in that CRCA kit. We see a lot of SZR kits out there riding for that SC team, the Sweden team, you know, and they're all going to be working for each other as best as they possibly can. It looks like the Vision Rider here is solo out there today and does not have a whole lot of help, actually. Roberts here up toward the front, still pulling with those crazy efforts that we've seen from him so far. Actually, no, we are seeing Garan in the race along with him there, I think toward the back, the Frenchman there as well. So maybe Roberts just trying to set him up and loosen up the legs a little bit before they actually hit the proper climbs out here out on course. WBR out there represented with the solo rider Davis, I do believe. And then it's going, yeah, he's in there. He's in there for WBR. And we are seeing Team Poland. Now, Team Poland, Rasan, has been showing up to these races in force. I mean, we have seen yesterday in the CVR race, there were at least 6, maybe even, it was like a full tour team. Like had showed up to the CVR race yesterday, and they were burning matches left and right, actually, on the front end of that race to try and break things apart and set their riders up well.
Yeah. Sometimes it's fun to see the teams that are instigators that go out there and just own the race, you know. Sometimes when you have a group of riders that form a great team and you're strong enough to burn a bunch of matches, go ahead, animate the race, you know, be the guy who's putting everyone in the headlock, and sometimes that's fun to see.
Yeah, and I think as far as the whole team tactics go out here, you can have a lot of cool situations where riders can then make those attacks. They can animate the race a little bit more, and you get people start playing roles within the races, knowing that, you know, there's the sprinters, you got the TT specialists, etc. What was the role that you were playing out there a lot, Rasan? It was mainly a sprinter's role, wasn't it?
I was always a sprinter, but there were races where I didn't have a chance to win, and the roles were reversed. And almost every time, and I'll just pat myself on the back for this one, almost every time I was the domestique, I did a really good job, and my teammates were happy because I was always on the other end of that, and I know what I expected. So I know what I needed from my teammates. So it was easy for me to reverse the role and give that same support back.
That's awesome. Yeah. Very cool. Well, being the one with the expectation.
It's a very tough job.
Yeah, being the one with that expectation up front, then you realize how important it is to the riders that you are supporting. Absolutely. So that's pretty cool for sure. And so now it's another thing that's really cool that we are seeing with this Team Poland, another being a great example, I think, with Trzynski and the rest of the boys from that team, is that you have this influx, I think, of riders who are getting all their buddies out there like, come on, check this out, this is so great, the best workout I've ever had in my life, going out there hammering away, and you can come and do that with me, right along with me. And you know, up front, they're able to in this cycling made social situation here, they've got these riders here putting out 3.5 to 5 watts per kilogram, you know, for the duration of these races. They're doing in these A races 4 to 5.0 watts per kilogram. It's full on. You can see the heart rates don't drop below 150, 160 beats per minute for most of these riders the entire time. And I think there's a ton of camaraderie, as well as a lot of hype, I think, around the world of Zwift racing for some of these teams out there right now. I think your buddy Davis is a great example, actually, of that, probably. It seems like he can't get enough of it.
Yeah, he's definitely in love with it. I was checking out some of his numbers on Zwift Power. In the last race that he won, the Phil Sprint, for the win, his normalized power was 340 watts. It's not too shabby, you know, for an hour race. So those are real numbers. If that can translate to the real world on the road, now I think you're going to really start seeing a lot of people utilize Zwift as a training tool, more than just a game for the most part. I know I use it as a tool. I also use it just to blow off some steam. So it's getting me back in shape because I pretty much stopped riding for a little while, and it's motivated me to just at least get on the bike and exercise every single day, because now you don't have an excuse, even if you just hop on for 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Something's better than nothing. Now, definitely this this idea of getting stronger, though. I mean, I want to definitely hammer on that a little bit, because yesterday, actually, during this little bit of a downtime here in the race, and I am getting our other feed up here. It does look like it's getting good here, so we are going to be able to bring in the C category race momentarily as soon as I do find the riders out there. But yesterday, I did a little bit of memory lane, boys and girls, and it was pretty cool. Almost 3 years ago, it'll be 3 years ago in about a month, my first live stream ever of Zwift actually was on, I have it recorded actually over on YouTube, and I was going, for some reason it popped up in my feed over on YouTube, and I was on Jarvis Island. We were doing my first 100 miles, I think, on Zwift or something, and that was like the elite crew. The crew that had the 100-mile jersey was like, that was like, everybody who was on Jarvis, that was like the thing to do. And actually, Casey Shum, you're in. Casey, I know that you're in the broadcast right now. You're in the video. I saw a bunch of familiar names, actually. It was really cool to see the ones who were in beta there, hanging out in Jarvis. Also wonder where some of the other riders have gone. A couple of them, like, I wonder if they're hanging around out on Zwift still. But it was really cool to see. One thing I noticed, though, was my power expectations of myself at that time were a different thing on the trainer. Sure. I'm talking, my sprints were on the trainer like 150 to 200 watts less. My mean, like, average base power when I'm doing 100 miles or whatever was like 20 to 30 watts less. I mean, and that's no joke. When your basic endurance raises 20, 30 watts, we're talking 10% increases over a 2 to 3 year period. That's crazy, crazy amounts of fitness gain there. I mean, I saw it, and I hadn't thought about that before until going back yesterday and looking at some of those old live streams and realizing what my personal expectation was and what my current fitness level was then compared to now, and how much it's changed just from being pushed by this community, as well as the consistency that you were talking about of getting on every day, no excuse.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, that's a great story, and it goes to exactly what this community of Zwifters are and what they stand for. And it's a motivating platform. I don't know it's so many positives that comes out of Zwift. And like I said all the time, I love it. Everyone that I come across, I mean, I have my neighbors come in my house. Hey, check this out. Some of them just ride on the weekends, and I have my setup at home, and I put them on a hill so they can see how realistic going up a hill is, and then you get to flat, and they absolutely love it, and it may take in some, twisting their arm to go ahead and commit to, find the trainers and what. They absolutely love it because, I mean, let's face it, in metropolitan areas like where I live, it's tough to ride a bike, and we go out and we say our prayers and we hope to come home. And for a lot of people, they don't want to take that chance. And this is a great way to not take that chance. The only thing you can do is catch a flat tire and fall over if you're like me.
Yeah, catch a flat tire and fall over, just like Rasad. We're gonna get an animation in game for Rasad, the Rasad bike throw for the train, or maybe pre-race. There'll just be a little animation when they're in the pens where they just do a little fall over, and it'll say Rasad up over the top of that.
I was doing some sprints, and after about the fourth one, it was 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. All out, and after the fourth one, I just got lightheaded, and I went to try to pedal, and actually, I fell over
on the ground.
It was like
I've seen those situations before in a couple of situations here and there. So we've got a social media integration going on here, actually, boys and girls. I haven't seen your questions and comments actually, so I'm going to bring some of those right on in. You can interact with the broadcast. It's a little quieter up front in this race, everybody. So we're just kind of having a little bit of a chat here and there, chatting about what's going on with Swift, what's going on with the racers, the series. As you know, throughout this 15-week series, pretty amazing actually. But we do have the social media integration going on here, so let's go ahead and bring some of those in. Jan Bring It All did say earlier was a good luck to all the racers. Thanks a lot, Jan, for being here. London Pretzel, oh man, be interesting to see. And day 3 ride at 11 Eastern time, 675 riders, we were told by John Lyons. I think he's talking about the 12 days of Xmas, Christmas out there. So in real life, these guys ride in which cat? Well, a lot of them ride in a lot of different categories, but you do have a strong mixture of riders. Usually amongst these front runners, it's Cat 3 or higher that I've noticed from in real life racers for sure. We do have some professionals that do show up to the races as well. Anytime we do get any World Tour UCI professionals, you will see the little pro jersey actually next to the name. Domestic pros don't always get a pro jersey, just so you guys know. So there may be professionals that are riding amongst the groups here, but if they're domestic or they are lower tiered international continental teams, they may not have that pro badge, just so you guys know. So some do show up and just don't have the badge next to their name. I am getting some information here from Howard Thomas and letting us know that Pierre Evansburg did get an upgrade actually to the A category, so that opens up the spot actually in that B category for Steve Nordstrom and Rizzi for second and third. But then it's a battle now still for third place there for Person actually. So good to see that Evansburg was able to get that upgrade. We do have an attack actually taking place here. Coming McLaughlin actually. A little bit of a dig coming out of that little underground there. Teselius is following it up there, 4.9 watts per kilogram. Herman's there as well from Vision Cycling. 3 seconds off the front now, as you can see. 157 beats per minute. McLaughlin now 172. Teselius there 163 it looks like as well. Venstead now 169 beats per minute, as well as Cobbs there at 167. So little bit of a dig here to try and catch back up. This might actually go at this point. McLaughlin is killing it, 5.5 watts per kilogram right now. And if he has consistency here, holds on to this. Now the question is it worth it? Because they're going to be heading into Fox Hill soon enough, actually. He's going to have to probably open up, I would say, a 15, 20-second gap. And look at the group behind him here. I mean, they are going bananas on the front end of that pack to try and close this down right now, Rasan.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, if you give a guy like that a lead going into the hill, you would think that he's strong enough to maintain it, and it's so hard to bring back gaps on climbs. I mean, once you go anaerobic, it's over, you know, when you're on the climb. So you definitely don't want to go anaerobic on a climb. You want to get there, you know, at 75, 80% and use that last 20% to make sure you get over the climb with the group. So they're going to be very attentive and make sure no one gets off.
It does look like they were super motivated to close that right on down. Davis did close it down. McLaughlin now going back to the mid-pack or so. S. White there from the TFC team there as well. Now it is very strung out. This means everybody's suffering here. You know, when it's a straight line like that, Rasan, everyone's just looking for the wheel right in front of them. Nobody is coasting. I mean, that's the situation at that point, right? When it's strung out one straight line, all you care about is the wheel in front of you, I would think.
It doesn't matter which wheel. You just need a wheel.
As long as that wheel's holding the one in front of you, because otherwise it's game over at that point, and you're yelling at him like, you got to close that down now, buddy. You opened up the gap, actually. So looking through a couple more of the comments that are coming through, I'm actually liking this one. It seems like somebody's got a little bit too much salt on his grill here. I worked hard to prepare for this race. My electric motor has plenty of torque to break free, and the water-cooled setup means it'll hold the high power the whole race. It's great racing and grilling at the same time. You know, Patrick Barrett, I actually love those guys because I still beat them sometimes out on course, and it pushes me to an absolute maximum. I always say, if I can do what the robots do, I'm Terminator. And I've won quite a few races, actually, out on Zwift, up against maybe some setups that I was like, you know, what's going on here? So keep on grilling out there, Patrick. We'll keep on winning races with the robots out here. So appreciate the salt, though, along
Patrick
with your grill,
is a local guy out of Santa Monica.
You know Patrick?
He's a very smart guy. I know Patrick. He works for SpaceX. He's sending those rockets into space. He's also a very good bike racer and runs a nice club out of Santa Monica called Rowe.
I had the shots fired back a little bit on that comment, though. I had to. It was almost too much with the grilling.
Don't take it easy on him.
He opened it up with the grilling and the salt there, so I had to use that one. I had to grill him for it there. So, and David Crispus here. All right, sounds good. We'll shoot him to space right along with it here. And looking through here, SW is here actually having a little chat with us as well. He says, I crashed off my rollers chasing Nathan over the Richmond course once. Oh, man. And then he then took the jersey. Oh, man. SW. I think I remember that, actually. Scotty Weiss chasing me around out on the Richmond course, actually. I don't know if I would be able to make Scotty fall off any rollers right now, though. That's for sure. That guy is in crazy shape at this point, dominating the SCR series. So good to see you hanging out. If you guys don't know, Scotty Weiss, former world champion, Masters world champion. And Scotty, I'd love to actually maybe have you on in the next couple of days here to chat a little bit about what's next. Because I do know that you are talking about going for some new Everstein maybe world records here and there, and also some pretty cool goals, it looks like, from some of the postings I've seen through social media. So let's connect for sure and see if we can get some updates.
Have you noticed the A group has lost a lot of riders? They had about 30 riders in that group. It's not as big anymore.
Oh yeah,
so it looks like and there's some B's still mingled in there.
It looks like actually Revel right along with Klingval, Sel Jason as well as Peterson, Jarlstig now. It looks like quite a few B's actually, and it looks like that was from that attack actually that we saw McLaughlin was able to whittle things down actually a little bit out there, out on course actually. And as they're heading into Fox Hill, they're gonna have a few less riders to worry about as they do so.
You can totally tell everyone's kind of watching each other. I'm watching guys are doing 178 watts, 75 RPMs, heart rate is below 160. So everyone's kind of, saving a little bit for the hill. And you can totally tell because they're just spread across the road right now.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of chilling out now at this point. Now, I am seeing Waterhouse here. He is on Z-Power, so he's unable to take the W out there today, but getting a good effort out there, it looks like here, 163 beats per minute. Jeff's here following her up there as well. McLaughlin now up toward the front in the Tour de Pierre kit with Roberts, Wallstrom, and then Alstendorf. A little bit of attack on this climb, and maybe a little inattentiveness from some of the riders, actually, as Alstenfeld here closes that gap down, and it looks like White right along with DeMeo there, coming out of New Zealand. Definitely international field out here today. Riders from all over the world. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what Zwift is, some of you might be wondering what is going on here. And, I do know there are some new viewers a lot of times over at Twitch or over at our Facebook post. This is actually a massive multiplayer online game / training tool in which all of these riders right now are actually pedaling real bicycles in order to power these avatars forward. They are being tracked either with a smart trainer, a power meter, or a speed sensor with the Z Power that we were seeing earlier there. But most of the riders are going to in these races are going to be on a verified trainer source or power source, actually, either power meter or smart trainer out there. And the riders here are then powering these avatars at speeds that are somewhat similar, a little bit faster sometimes in Zwift than in real life, but they are all at a equal measurement though of what they need to be putting out in order to power the weight of those avatars forward in the game. So they're able to ride and race actually with each other with real physical efforts in order to try and beat each other to be first to the line. So virtual racing, a real thing. People from all over the world, all of these flags are actual flags of where these people are from or the country that they do identify with. They might be riding somewhere else in the world at the time, but their country of origin, usually what they are going to be, their citizenship, what they're going to be seeing for those flags actually. So Thompson in the USA over there, Norway with Morvik here, you know, a lot of Swedish riders there coming from the SCR team. So pretty awesome to see how many riders that are able to connect through this online platform. Rasan, being over in Long Beach, have there been any like moments over there where like, wow, we've had this many online? I mean, I know you guys been breaking records day in and day out. Anything recently?
I know either last week or 2 weeks ago, you know, we had about, I think 35, maybe close to 4,000 people online from all across the world. So, I mean, you just put it all into perspective. If you look to the right and see those columns of all those different flags, it just goes to show you that Zwift is actually, you know, it's a worldwide thing, and that people all across the world share the love of riding bikes, and now they're sharing the love of riding bikes virtually. I got a buddy who's in Australia right now, and we're scheduled to do a workout together, you know, and I'm here. So it's just such a cool way to bring people together and to see all the different flags that, like you said, people identify with, or it's actually the country that they're in at that moment. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty awesome to see everybody able to push each other from their households here or wherever they're at in the world. Patrick Barrett's actually saying that he's a melting snowflake after we grilled him a little bit. They will get out of the grill and maybe just take a little bit of that salt off and you'll stop melting. Get out in the cold, the snow here. Calm it down over there. So Barrett, good to have you here in the broadcast, man, and enjoying the comments for sure. So, all right, now, first time up and over the top of the climb. It's coming at you here, boys and girls. This is where things are really going to heat up out on course here. And I think we're, speaking of melting, we're going to have some people melting off the back end of this group here. And looking through here, I do believe this is Fox Hill. So they are going the reverse direction up and over the top of the climb. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a sharper climb, actually, than the Box Hill front ways. So it's definitely almost a more difficult climb as far as it comes at you very quickly, actually.
Yeah. So it's a little shorter but steeper. Like the initial grade here, it looks like 5-6%. Then it gets a little steeper, and then it's over. On the other side, it's a lot longer. You're talking about a 6 to 7 minute climb. I'm not sure exactly how long this side of the climb is, but it's definitely gonna it's gonna break this group up. As you can see already, you can see some guys getting spit out the back.
Yeah, McLaughlin here again on the attack here. 6.2 watts per kilogram, 170 beats per minute already, though. Really trying to break things apart. He's been the instigator so far to make people fall off the back of these groups now. We are seeing Herman now from Vision Cycling. They're out of Germany now, kicking again into 8 watts per kilogram here. Venstad there from GTT as well. Now, they're going to pay for this up front, though. They throw this out there up front. There's going to be a little bit of suffering, though, a little bit later. They're going to have to maybe temper the effort a little bit. Looks like Davis staying consistent here, following the wheels, making sure nobody gets too far away from it. And it looks like he kicks it now, 7 watts per kilogram, making sure that he's going to try and grab Chris Wonos' wheel here from Team Poland, 161. This guy is grinding that gear, 72 RPMs. Most likely on a smart trainer, we would think there with those kind of RPMs there. Sound actually.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I did the hill this morning the other way around, and I tried to do it in the big gear, you know, 55, 60 RPMs, and it was just too tough. I had to go down to the small chain ring, and I tried to spin it up, and that didn't work either. So I had to find that sweet spot right in the middle, and I actually just clicked on Mike Davis, and you can just kind of see that he's 4 or 5 riders back, and he's got a little gap, but it's just a gap big enough that's manageable to him. And he's probably saving a few watts just by letting that small gap open up. So far, it's hard to tell if he's, you know, playing it smart or if he's actually off the wheel and hurting. His heart rate has gone up to 174 beats a minute, which is getting up there. and he's close to 300 watts. So if he can kick over this climb, save a little bit, he'll get right back in the group with those fast guys up front.
Yeah, we're looking through here
6.2
for the
watts per kilo.
results. And, you know, we got McLaughlin and Herman hammering now at the front end of this race. They've got a solid 7 seconds now, but there is a chase group that's fairly strong here that's getting together. Looking through for Davis, actually, I don't have any max heart rate information from him, but I am seeing he does average around 170 at the highest. So most likely max heart rates for him are going to be right around just sub 180 or so, right around 180
absolutely.
or so. So he is definitely in a world of hurt right now. It looks like McLaughlin or Herman in a category of their own as soon as they hit this Fox Hill. 5.6 watts per kilogram. McLaughlin now 6.1, as you can see here. Now I'm going to just double check here and see how things are at zwiftpower.com according to these riders. Now, Chris McLaughlin out of the UK does not have a zwiftpower.com profile, actually, so has not signed up and hasn't done any past races that have been recorded. So a little bit of encouragement to Chris to head on over to zwiftpower.com and register over there in order so that you can connect your Strava profile and get everything tracked over there. There are some benefits to that as well in game, in the community of racing and how everything is tracked there. We do see, it looks like Herman there, though, from Vision, hammering away. And I'm trying to find Johannes Herman here. Last couple of races that we've seen him in, 57 races, took third, actually, in CVR World Cup Zone A yesterday. The KISS Europe KISS 100 race, actually. That is a crazy hard race, actually. Took second to Dear Strawberry out there, actually. 4.4 watts per kilogram for the duration of 2 hours and 11 minutes. And this boy can hammer. Absolutely flying, it looks like here. So Herman and McLaughlin on the front here, walking away now. I think they're in a category of their own. Maybe a little bit of above A category. There's been some conversations about having an elite category, actually, that you have your 4.0 watt per kilogram or more FTP, but there's a big jump between 4.0 and higher and guys who can do 5.0 plus. You know what I mean? The professional world tour type FTPs. I mean, you throw Cat 3 to high Cat 1, 4.0 plus in a mix with UCI, you know, or Continental even, or domestic pro type wattages, there's going to be a pretty big difference, I would think, Rasan.
Oh, it's going to be huge. Just the intensity level that those guys race at raises their FTP so much higher than anything that we can train for here alone, you know, or on Zwift or even in real life. So, yeah, I could see where having an elite category could be beneficial. I mean, because there's just guys that are at that level, and, you know, it'll make for a very interesting level of the playing field, you know.
Yeah, I think there has been some calls for it here and there. Now, the question is whether or not it would be a well-populated category, and how do we create those categories? There's actually been a lot of conversation about categories lately out on Zwift and how to organize them well. So, absolutely flying. 6:03.1, not the fastest time we've seen over the top of Fox or Box Hill. We have seen in the 550s. I think Scotty Weiss was like crazy in the 5-minute area when he attacked up and over the top of this climb, actually. But we are seeing a solid effort here from these boys. And now we do see Debsky right along with Venstead here with 3 chasing Chocolate Daddy out there, 178 beats per minute right now, hammering away, about to make his way up and over the top of the climb. It looks like they were a solid 39-40 seconds actually back, though, so they got a lot of time to make up.
I don't think they're going to bring that back. You get a really nice downhill, and those two guys are absolutely flying. So, yeah, the field sprint was going to be between, you know, for 3rd and 4th place. So I think these first 2 guys, unless they get a flat, will make it to the finish.
Barring a mechanical, they are not most likely going to be just firing off the front of this race, but it does happen once in a while here. We'll get the team car out to them maybe, though. Neutral support, and see if we can get them going again out there out on course. We do have some comments coming through here, actually. Dimitri, actually, you should tell, is saying a great training tool, definitely gives no excuse not to ride. Great to see Rassam Bahadi involved. We all have lots to learn from you and your bag of tricks. Thank you for being supportive. So, what's the bag of tricks all about there? Did you have a little bit of a reputation for having a bag of tricks out there, Hassan?
Man, I don't know. I say I grew up in the great era, man. I had some of the best people around me. I learned to race from some of the hard-nosed racers, some of the most crafty racers. You know, I was lucky, man. I've been around some of the guys who were just upright professionals, some that were crazy, so I got it all. So I definitely have a bag of tricks. And I got a couple texts last week that said, man, stop giving out all the tricks on Zwift live. Don't tell everyone what to do. But I look at it this way. The more people learn how to race, the safer it would be for everyone. So if I give out too many nuggets and it's going to help make the Peloton safer in the real world, I'm all for it.
That's awesome. Right on. As it is definitely racing, there are some comments coming through. I'm gonna be a little biased towards cycling right now and how awesome it is. But that I saw some these crazy fights that you get in keyboard cowboy world of the internet, and everyone hiding behind their keyboards and cycling to the point that somebody was like, "Yeah, and cycling's not a sport or something." But man, there is 30 miles per hour flying into corners. Elbows out, you know what I mean? Like, there is some insanity that cyclists go through as far
Absolutely.
as the risks that are taken, right, Rasan? I mean,
100%.
I wasn't a big crit racer. I've raced crits, but but I've also threaded some needles, that's for sure, in downhill cross country you know what I mean? And then elbow to elbow with three guys all trying to take the same single track section, you know what I mean? Full on at like 30 miles an hour downhill. So somewhat similar, not the same though, as having 20 guys around you, 34, 40 miles an hour into a crit corner, trying to be the first one out. I mean, that's a whole nother world of risk.
It's absolutely, it's blind faith, it's believing in something that you don't know. You're following guys who, sometimes you hop in a race that's outside of your state or your area. You have no idea who you're racing against, and there you go. Like just what you said, Nathan. You're going into a corner, elbow to elbow, and following a wheel at 35, 40 miles an hour. And it's blind faith. You're just hoping the guy in front of you don't slide out or skip a wheel or anything like that. So cycling it's a tough sport. It's a beautiful sport, but it's also a very dangerous sport. And those three things together, I think if you talk to the diehard cyclist, we just live for all three of those. We know that it's tough. We know that it's exciting, and we know that it's dangerous. So that's what we live for,
Yeah, for sure. And definitely a lot of risk, a lot of in it, a lot of reward though, as well. Absolutely. In the racing scene. That's for sure. Now, Herman, we might have jinxed him a little bit. There was a full zero there through the underground, actually, there coming from Herman, actually. So it looks like he was able to get going again and catch back up to McLaughlin. I wonder if McLaughlin actually waited for him, because you probably don't want to be off the front for the duration of the rest of this race alone, actually. I mean, there's still a lot of racing to go here. It's a long race out here today, and I wonder if perhaps when he saw those zeros was like, I don't know if I actually want to go with this alone at this point. I mean, if you're off the front in a race like this solo, and you've got 46-second gap on a chasing pack with someone, would you wait up for the guy that you were with?
It all depends. If I felt that guy was stronger than me and could possibly beat me in a sprint, maybe I'll take my chances and go for it. But on the flip side of that, if I was hurting and I felt that I could play a little possum and outsmart him, I would definitely wait and try to come around him in a sprint. Sprinters have this thing called like the finish line fever. You could feel bad for the entire race, but when you get that 5 laps to go or that 3 laps to go, all of a sudden you have all this big ball of energy, that you smell the finish line. So, yeah, I would have to play it by ear, and it all depends on exactly how I was feeling.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a great answer actually. So we actually have a couple more comments coming on through here. Jan Bringdahl, 6 watts per kilogram for the climb. Insane. Yeah, Jan, definitely insane. They're doing 6 minutes, 6 watts per kilogram. It's doable at the top end for sure of elite racing. Cat 1 to domestic pro for sure could handle something along those lines, but still insane. And that's an all-out effort. These boys aren't messing around, that's for sure. And we saw the heart rates through the roof, and that's a match or two that's burned at this point. We actually see with this chase, 46 seconds. Now these riders are strong. How many matches have been burned? They continue on though, it looks like, with these little kicks in that 5 watts per kilogram. So they do see the chase coming. I think they are motivated to hold this off here today. Now Kim Little actually in the broadcast with a little bit of chat here. He says, sorry, not in today. He had a power cut. Well, I'm glad to hear that you have 12 races in though for the total on the events though. So you still got to nail down with 241 points. So series leader in the SCR series, able to take this down. Good to see you out there. Kim, thanks for your comment, letting us know that why you weren't out there today. Who tell me a smart turbo trainer as gift? I don't know. What do you got? What are you using, Rasan? What are you using? Maybe we just talk about what we're using currently. What do we like? What do we like? What are you using?
Yeah, I use the Kicker, the Wahoo Kicker. I like their product. I also use their bike computer and their heart rate strap. So I became a fan, and I just kind of stick to that. So, but there's a lot of other good trainers out there. I wouldn't just stick to one. If you have the ability to try a few different ones out, I suggest that, and go for what works for you. Sometimes you need more space, so you go with a smaller trainer. Sometimes you need less noise, so you go with X trainer. So, it all depends on your circumstances.
They all definitely do have their benefits. I mean, some trainers do things better than others, for sure. And so there's definitely the top tier out there that kind of do it pretty well between each other, and there's only minute differences. So you're looking at the Kicker, the Neo, the Elite Drivo, as well as the Cyclops Hammer. So those are kind of the elite tier out there. I personally use the Hammer. I really like it. For my direct drive. As far as wheel on trainers, there's so many out there. We could hardly go through them. But they're all, if you get the chance, definitely try them out because they're all a little bit different. That's for sure. Herman seems to be having some dropouts here though, Rasan. We've seen another one actually from him. 2 seconds off the back. These are matches he doesn't want to be burning at this point, and it doesn't look like McLaughlin's waiting up this time.
Oh, yeah, he's getting close to the finish. So, like I said, it all depends on the circumstances. Obviously, he's feeling like, hey, I could pull this off. Seems like he's back in there now. So McLaughlin is, I don't know what's going on. He's going in and out, but 5.2 watts per kilo.
Yeah, I think Herman's having some dropouts here and there. So, did Rasan? Oh, we got a question coming from Caleb Christian saying, did Rasan team up with Sharon Smith for next year? Sharon Smith?
Yeah, Sharon. Some people who don't know him say Sharon. I call him Chevron.
Chevron.
Not, sorry. I call him Chevron with Techron.
Like Stargate? like
Yeah, Chevron, like the gas station. Sharon is a longtime friend of the family. When I went to school in Indiana, my dad got him into cycling. And, he started from the bottom, Cat 5, Cat 4, start winning Cat 3 races. And he's pretty much the fastest Masters 35-plus racer in Southern California. Super nice guy. And he was sponsored by Specialized Bike Shop out of Costa Mesa, which went away. And it only made sense for us to team up. So, yep, we'll have a team next year. It's called Methods to Winning. Because we believe there is a method to the madness. There's a method to winning. There's a method to everything. So, we'll be out there. We plan to do Tour of America's Dairyland, Intelligentsia Cup, Tulsa, and Nationals for some of the races we'll travel to. And I'm also going to be doing Race Across America with four-man team benefiting my
Oh,
foundation.
you're
Yeah,
insane!
I
Insane!
know.
Oh, are you doing it solo, Rasan? Is it a
No,
solo
of
effort?
course not.
Okay. Oh,
No, four-man
okay.
team. I'm not
Okay.
that crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I
So
got a bucket list of things I want to accomplish this 2018, including Masters Track Nationals, which are in my backyard.
okay, gotcha. Right on, right on. Well, maybe I'll have to join you at Toad. We'll see if I can jump on over there. At least say hi. I don't know if I would
Yeah,
be racing. Maybe. Well, I don't know. We'll see if I can jump in with the
they
Peloton
have a
for me
few
to
road
shake to. We'll
races you can
see.
hop in.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. There's always whenever I tell Lindsay I might be road race, she's like, "No, you're no." No. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, I want you to come
Stick to
home with all
Zwift.
your skin on.
Yeah, exactly. That is the sucky part of bike racing: breaking bikes and losing skin.
Yeah, yeah. So it looks like Herman McLaughlin still with a solid effort here. Now, Venstead now trying to make the chase here. 4.7 watts per kilogram, 174 beats per minute. He was able to get away from this chase group, but it's going to be a long day in the saddle off the front here. Only 19 seconds with a solid chase group. Davis here with Griswonos. Now, Davis is going to be super motivated to try and bring this back, I would think, because his current situation in the A category is 4th place. And how many points does he need here? Now, he needs to win the sprint, I think, amongst these riders. And in order to bunny hop ahead of, I believe, the other riders around him in the series. Let me just double check what the points are worth here for this race out here today. If I can bring this up over at swiftpower.com, I will take a look here real quick. And looking for race description. And here we go. So it looks like 4 points. So 12 points to 4th place. He is currently, Davis is currently sitting 11 points behind Tom Grimshaw. So he has found himself in a situation right now with Venstead off the front in 3rd place, right? 20 seconds up. Davis, in order to take, this is the final race in the series right now. This is the story right here for Davis, actually. Yeah. He's done 4 races. This will be his 5th race. He's got 75 points. He's 11 points behind Grimshaw. Grimshaw is not in the race today. If he wins the sprint amongst these riders, if he takes 4th place or better, he will bump into 3rd place overall in the series, actually. So there's a little bit on the line here for Davis, actually, as to whether or not they let Venstead go and whether or not he takes the sprint. Also, how well he climbs Box Hill. They're going to take the right-hand turn here off the classic course one last time into the underground, and it's a climb to the top of Box Hill here in just a moment. And that's probably going to be a deciding factor, I would think, for Davis. Now, you know Davis in real life. Is he a climber, Rasan?
He can kind of do it all. You know, if I had to compare him to someone, this is a big, huge comparison, but someone like Vinokurov, you know, who's just kind of short, stubby, strong, can climb, can sprint out of a break, has some speed in his legs. That's what I would compare Mike Davis to. And this is a very interesting situation for him. He's really have to play its cards right. Like you explained the whole scenario. So he can almost let the 3rd place guy go. He doesn't want to get caught in a position where he's chasing the entire time and then allow the 2 guys behind him to actually beat him in the sprint. All they would do is beating him in the sprint, and Mike Davis will absolutely get 0 out of it. So he's better off just letting the 3rd place guy go and making sure that he beats those 3 guys in his group so he can get those points for 3rd place.
It's a good call, actually, Rasan. Good call, Rasan. If he tries and pulls that guy back, you know, leave it up to them is what you're saying. Let them burn the matches because it's a better chance that he might be able to take the sprint, especially if he's confident in his all-around ability.
Yep, absolutely. Vanstead is at 30 seconds now, so it looks like Mike gave up the chase, which is smart. I mean, the guy could finish 3rd place. If you look in big picture, he wants to get on the podium, so you want to save everything to make sure you can beat the 3 guys in your group.
And we got more comments coming through here. And Des Mooney is saying, how old is Rasan? David Crisp says, very old. Kim Little says, old enough to party. Oh my goodness. Rasan, we're over the hill. We're over the hill, Rasan. Oh my goodness.
I'm over the hill, man. I've been bike racing for 21 years, so that'll tell you how old I am.
Woo! Bike racing for 21 years. Oh my goodness.
More than half my life.
Got a few years on me there on the bike race, just a few, and but you've definitely been at it longer than me. Oh my goodness, the good job on you there, man. That's amazing. So, we got McLaughlin is a local to me. Kim Little is saying actually good upcoming youth. Actually, that's really cool to see. That's always awesome to see. You know, actually, Herman and McLaughlin are both younger riders. Actually, I do believe I do believe if I look at SwiftPower.com, I'm pretty sure. They're both not. Herman may even be. Both of them may even be U23. Actually, looking
that explains
here.
Everything. These damn kids are too good. That explains everything. They went over the hill like they're probably having a conversation with each other. You know, kids, man.
McLaughlin with Herman here. Now the attacks are on. We're seeing McLaughlin here, 7.4 watts per kilogram. Kim Little letting us know that he is an up-and-coming youth out of the UK here. Herman as well out of Germany. The two youngins here hammering on each other here up and over the top here, showing us that they've got big watts to kick over the top. Now, I'm not sure we're going to see a sub-6 again. I have a feeling we're going to see somewhere in the 610 to 630 after that first climb up on the top. Plus, they're over an hour of racing in at this point. So 30.3 miles, 179 beats per minute right now from McLaughlin. Still turning the screws at the front end of this race now. It's going to come down to this final climb, I think, over the top of Box Hill. Now, if they stick to each other's wheels, though, it's going to be a cat and mouse game over the top, I would think.
Yeah, and they have to be careful. I mean, they're only 40 seconds up. You know, if they play cat and mouse, 40 seconds can go by really fast with a motivated group behind. So it's important for the guys that are chasing to not necessarily give up the chase, but keep the wheels turning. You know, don't stop and think that the race is absolutely over, because they're on a hill now. You can see 6.7 watts per kilo, and then it comes down to 4.5 watts per kilo. So that means they are kind of playing cat and mouse. So they have to be careful. Watch the gap between the guys behind and Mike Davis' group to the leaders.
McLaughlin, though, with 9.4 watts per kilogram here. I did see him up in the 180s for just a little bit, actually. So Herman, though, responding immediately with 12 there. Full-on sprint kick, making sure that it doesn't go anywhere. That was like, nope, you're not getting away from here, buddy, but now drops immediately to 3.4 watts per kilogram. McLaughlin now, it looks like he's playing a little bit of games with them here and there, though. He gives these kicks, backs off, give these kicks, but you see the heart rate raised by almost 10 beats, though, in the last minute or two right now. So these boys have been putting themselves in the red, trying to drop each other off. Doesn't look like they want a sprint finish here in the end. They want to get away over the top of Box Hill here.
It's funny, even though they're playing some games, they're actually putting time into the group behind. So these are just the two best guys in the group right now, and at this rate, I have confidence they will make it. But Vinstead is actually holding steady, 39 seconds. So he's doing a good ride to separate himself from that chase group to be in no man's land, and he may even hold on for his third place.
Yeah, looks like it, but it's 12 seconds now, as you can see. Kolb's here now with a little bit of attack, 5.0 watts per kilogram, as you can see now. Davis trying to hold on, and this right here, this climb is for his third overall. If he does not hang on, he will not be able to take third overall in the series, actually. Fourth place in the series right now. If he's able to hold on and then beat these boys to the line, he will be able to take that spot down. But he's got to hold on. It looks like he's playing it smart, following every wheel, but not taking any wind to the face at this point. And it matters on this climb, whether or not you're taking that wind to the face.
I mean, if we're guessing his max heart rate at around, low 180s, he's now at 90% of his heart rate, of his max heart rate. So 85, 90%. So I think he's in a hurt locker right now. RPMs are pretty decent, 84 RPMs at 300 watts. So if he can hold on, I think he could dig, because he is a sprinter at heart. I think he can dig it in and pull off a nice field sprint so he can get those points and move into third place.
Yeah, it looks like
And
he
they are
is.
bringing Venstead back. He's only at 9 seconds.
Yeah, and that's what happens with these races at the you know when the you know you get the cat and mouse and you get the back and forth, but it still raises the effort though. It still raises the speed overall when they start pushing like that. When the attacks start happening back and forth, like you were saying, McLaughlin still opening things up. Herman as well, out to 50 seconds now again. We did just get a new sub over at the Zwift Community Live page, and I just want to let people know what that's all about who are over at Twitch. Essentially with Twitch, if you do have an Amazon Prime, you can sub actually. There's one free sub every month if you do have Amazon Prime actually, and we are looking to get partnered actually over there so that we can actually start throwing more emotes out there. Let's get some ride-ons for those who can put them actually into chat. Get some ride-on emotes going on over there. Thanks a lot, Goaty, for that Twitch Prime subscription over there. And we do see McLaughlin here, though, now with another kick, 7.7 watts per kilogram. Herman there as well, 5.9, following it up there very quickly, actually. And Racing Mike, thanks a lot. Appreciate that a lot, buddy. So Venstead now there as well, though. Only 4 seconds, though. He's been off the... And here's the thing. He has been in TT mode this whole time, Rasan. He's been demolishing himself in TT mode this whole time. He's not going to have a lot left to respond to these boys once they do catch him, I would think.
Yeah, he's just going to have to hold on unless he's just no, you can look at his watts, 5.3 watts per kilo. So I was going to say maybe he's just backing off to allow the group to catch him so he can open up a sprint, but he's still digging. It's going to be tough for him to get out of the saddle and throw down some watts from this long TT. He's been off the front for at least the last 10, 15 minutes. So, yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and it's all coming on this. They're an hour and 10 minutes in. This is one of the longest races out on Zwift and one of the hardest races because it has those 2 climbs in there, Fox Hill, Box Hill, and, you know, kicking for 6 minutes, everything. They pulled a 6:01, Rasan. These boys are flying right now.
They're absolutely flying.
Herman was able to take a 6:01 on the front here. McLaughlin took Fox, I think, from him. So, actually, no, Herman actually has it, actually, as you can see. He's got the reverse as well. So, Herman, the KOM champ out there today. A little bit of kudos to him for that now. One last kick over the top here. We'll see if he's able to get away. This 13% gradient here, sometimes you can break people on it if you do have continuance over the top.
Yeah, this little section sucks, and you don't really see it coming. So you go over the KOM, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have this, you know, 10+. Oh, look at that.
McLaughlin, out of nowhere. I mean, it was sneaky. It was sneaky, Rasan. Out of nowhere, boom, just kicked it, as we can see there. And now Herman 3 seconds off the back here. I'm not sure he's going to be able to close it down here now. Herman has been able to come back, though. He's been able to close the gap back down, but it's going to be all about continuous to the end. This is going to be mano man versus man, TT effort to the finish now. 7 seconds. McLaughlin still kicking 183 beats per minute. That's the highest heart rate I've seen from him so far. It's 10 seconds almost now. Is it all said and done? 179 beats per minute. I'm not sure he's going to be able to close this down. Looks like McLaughlin maybe has broken Herman at this point, but, you know, it's kind of like this flexing that goes on a little bit, like almost like this, come at me, what do you got? I'm holding 6, can you continue? And when you see the other rider fade below that, you go, all right, I've done it. There's some confidence that comes in, but did he go too much though? Herman continues on, 5.1 watts per kilogram. Now still McLaughlin, I don't know, man, it's still neck and neck, it seems like, Rasan.
I don't know, man. If he's able to throw down a move like that, I'm gonna put my hat out and say that he can maintain it to the finish. It went from 3 seconds to 5 seconds to 8 seconds. I mean, that's pretty significant, and you can see that the other rider was actually chasing him at the same time. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and so we'll have to see if McLaughlin has another kick like that. Now Herman does have some solid kicks, and he was able to close it down. 4.3 watts per kilogram still here coming from McLaughlin. 4.4 now. All back together, but that was a monstrous effort coming from Herman here. So, oh, and I missed it. Sorensen let us know that Herman did have another dropout, actually. So he had a dropout, and McLaughlin took full advantage of that one, kicked it all out. No love lost between these boys, that's for sure, as they are definitely giving everything they got to the line here, it looks like, to try and get away. 238, not going to be seen again. It might be all said and done for Davis here. Kolbs has gone off the front here at this point. Debsky, he's leaving it up to Debsky. Venstad, though, Venstad might not have much left in the tank. It's 4 seconds. 4 seconds is the difference for whether or not Davis is even going to have a chance to sprint for that third place today.
He can't let it go. He's got to do it early. He's got to get that, bring that break back ASAP and not wait to the last minute. So he's got to consolidate his time right now. Time is not in his favor for Mike Davis. He's got to close the gap, do it now, and get it over with.
Yeah, 4 seconds. I mean, it doesn't look like much, but it is. I mean, it is really, really crucial that he doesn't have to waste energy later in order to try and win that sprint, right? I mean, you got to. I mean, exactly. Otherwise, he's got to play an amazing tactical game to make sure that that guy stays right where he needs him this whole time, or else close it now. I mean, that's a little bit risky, I would think, at this point.
It's a 10% downhill. I mean, if there's a great place to chase, it's definitely on the downhill, you know, because you're going to use less effort versus an uphill. And it looks like these three guys are going to work together and bring him back. So lucky for Davis that he's going to be able to come back.
Kolbs is very motivated, though. Look at him. He continues to kick, but on the downhill, it's almost worthless, though, on the downhill sometimes with three chasers like that. You get so much advantage.
Exactly. Yeah. The chasers have the advantage, you know, especially heavier guys. I'm not sure of these guys' weights, but, you know, the heavier you are, gravity is definitely in your favor. So
Venstad, like 89 kilograms. Davis, 68, lighter. One of the lighter boys amongst them there we are seeing. But then we're also seeing, from what I can see, Debsky, 75. Igor Kolbs coming in at about 79 kilograms, I believe, coming out of Slovenia, though. So 8 races out on Zwift. He took 6th place yesterday in the CVR World Cup Z Zone B, actually, for the men. So we'll see if he can better that result there with a 3rd place out there today. That's what they're battling out there for today. Now, Herman and McLaughlin, this has been a serious battle since Fox Hill. These two riders have been together over Box Hill, outbound to the classic course and the expansion, and now it's coming down to the last kilometer. Who's going to take it here? Let's hear your predictions. McLaughlin, will it be the UK? Will it be Germany? Who's going to take the W? Let us know via social media. Let us know in the chat over at Twitch. What do you think is going to happen? Let's hear it, Rasan. What's your prediction here? Herman or McLaughlin?
I'm going to go with Herman. I'm going to go with Herman for the win with a significant sprint. He showed that he can put out a lot of watts over the top of the climb. He showed that he can sustain those watts. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Herman. German produced good bike riders.
I don't know, McLaughlin seems to have a solid sprint as well, but I'll go along with you. And Herman kicks early, actually, very early, 10 watts per kilogram, actually, not messing around, but McLaughlin's got 13, 15 watts per kilogram. This boy can sprint like a maniac. Now Herman's going as well, though, but he's fading. He's fading. Herman's coming back on him. He's almost egged him on, actually, but he's coming back now at this point. It's going to come right to the line. Can McLaughlin continue on 190 beats per minute? Herman's coming back. It looks like here right to the line. It looks like he's going to be able to. It's the comeback king all day long, but no, McLaughlin again. It's kicking right to the line, boys and girls. Who's going to take it? It's going to be Herman, just barely at the line. Oh my goodness, you guys. That was what a neck and neck sprint between the two riders off the front the entire time. How many? Wow. How many back and forths did we have there, Rasan? Like, how many beats per minute did he get up to? I missed that one.
189 was his max. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I think McLaughlin was into the 190s, almost 200s at one point, actually. Absolutely demolishing themselves out there today. Boys and girls, that was definitely a solid effort all around by these riders here. We're going to see if we can find the front end of the group because Davis still needs to sprint it out here. We're going to go ahead and find them real quickly. Now, we still have our other feed here coming through. We're watching some of the C, D, and B category riders. Dallin here, this is the current leader, or this is currently 2nd place in the series, actually, for the C category. So he's making his way up on his final climb over Box Hill. We'll definitely take a look at the C category. We are getting jumped around a little bit here, but this actually maybe give us a good shot here into this final right here. Now we are seeing Venstad right along with Davis, and this is for whether or not he takes the W. Oh no, Venstad steals it from him. No way. Oh, Venstad with the sprint to the line. Davis had it locked down, and Venstad steals it from him at the line. Boys and girls, show the salt. We're grilling out here today. Where's Barrett when we need him? What? Oh man. Oh, Davis, he had it. He had it. And then Venstad with that kick at the end just nips him, Rasan.
You just absolutely hate those guys because that guy had nothing to go, to show at the end of this race. What he's going to say is, I made sure Davis didn't get on the podium. That's his victory right there.
I made sure Davis.
Sorry, Mike. That's just the way it goes sometimes.
Oh, my goodness. The replay here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry about that, boys and girls. So we've got the replay here real quick that was from yesterday, actually. We'll see if we can bring in the replay actually from that was, for some reason, we got yesterday's replay. I know I was recording, wasn't I? And nope, we got no recording there, boys and girls. Sorry about that. We did have a replay going, but the recording didn't actually come through. So sorry about that. That was the start of yesterday's race, actually. So looking back through here, though, we're going to see if we can grab the front end of the B category as they make their way to the line. And we got a lot of comments coming on through here, actually. And great finish, fun to watch, coming from Brian O'Rourke. Des Mooney saying, wow, brilliant, from Allison Sugden. Wow, awesome race. Amazing watch, coming from Robert Persillo. Thanks a lot for all your comments there, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys. Looking through here, we do have a few more attacks taking place, actually, here, Rasan, from the A category, real quickly here. And does look like we definitely want to at least catch the B category, actually, for their finish. And they did just cross the line here. I think it was Jay DeMayo, actually. And I do believe Dolan is going to be getting away here. Now, let's just go through the results here real quickly. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to find the front end of the B or C category race. If I can, you guys, I will do so. And we'll try and catch the finish for the C category. And then we're going to have to be done for the day on the broadcast, as we do have Workout Wednesday coming up here with Matt Rowe, actually, here in just a little bit here. So we'll be coming at you live with Workout Wednesday with Matt here in just a moment. But let's go ahead and check out what the results were for today in the last of the Autumn Series 4. The SCR races here. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up if I can find it here. We have lost it here, actually, momentarily. Where is my SCR results as we try and bring these in for you? There we go. So we got Johannes Herman, it looks like here. First place, hour and 17 minutes. That's a long race at 4.4 watts per kilogram. Absolutely hammering. Now, McLaughlin is actually, you know what? Davis, I think, is going to end up getting that place, actually, because Chris is going to need to provide. Now, he's going to need to provide approval, actually. So good job to Chris. Awesome effort out there. Amazing effort. But right on the edge at 5 watts per kilogram for the duration of an hour and 17 minutes, yeah. Chris is going to have to provide some verification around that. So
Nathan, I'm on zwiftpower.com.
Easily. And so we'll be back with you guys, though, next week. We're going to be looking to cover some more races on Saturday alone around these times. So it looks like we are back. We did get back into it looks like live over at Twitch. For some reason I lost it for just a second there, but it looks like we are good to go now. Rasan, thanks a lot for joining us. Long race out there today.
Hey Nathan, thanks for having me.
Always of course. It's always good. And maybe we'll have to get you in for some community chat. It seems like everybody likes to chat with you. about
Let's
racing experience and things. So maybe we can jump on for some community chat, not just racing commentary. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm Nathan Gare. Rasan Bahati coming at you from Zwift HQ. Signing out. And have a great day, Rasan. Cheers.
You too, Nate. See ya. Happy holidays.
And if you guys have happy holidays as well to you, man. You too. So if you guys haven't noticed, we are doing some focuses. This is Jonathan Knoblig. He submitted his Twitch.tv/Johnny Zwift.
We're doing to go right past
letting us see how he is doing live streaming actually over on Twitch. If you would like to submit your clips of your streaming, go ahead and tweet at Zwift Z Community Live with Zwift Clips hashtag.
Here we go.
We'll go ahead and get your clips into the broadcast. We'll highlight you and feature you
us out
in these as well. We also got Workout Wednesdays coming up here.
Guy, good job.
Just a guy, good job.
Yeah, right on.
Good job, Guy. Good job, Guy. Johnny is hilarious, man. I love his animations that he's doing there as well. Great job to Johnny out there. Also, of course, we've got the Crit Series coming up. Next one is going to be January 4th for the men and the women. For both the EU as well as the NA series. So make sure to get ready for that next week, Thursday, January 4th. You guys can jump into the racing series with us out there. Both men's and women's. They are giving away spots to the live final that will be happening in, I believe it is going to be late February, March. So racing all the way through February 22nd. So there are in-game kits as well for that. People are earning. Casey Shum currently donning that for the Americas, as well as I believe Kim Little and Rachel Elliott for the EU. The women's leader for Americas, I have to figure out who that is, but sorry, I don't have that information directly on the broadcast here with you guys. But when exactly are we getting the community chat stream? This Friday, and it's going to be reserved, though it isn't call-in style. It is not call-in style. Just so you know, Mike, it will have guests, and then we will have call-ins as it makes sense with people on deck, but it will not be a free-for-all. It will not be a free-for-all, that's for sure. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We will see you in just a little bit for Workout Wednesdays with Matt Rowe. Make sure to get those bid-ons ready. Jump into the workout with Matt Rowe, coached by him. I think we have some pre-recorded content with him, but you can still do the workout that he did coach, and you'll be able to follow along with that live right here. If you haven't done so already, head on over to our Twitch channel. That is the place to get all of our live feeds, twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live. You can also catch all our VODs over on YouTube, but the main place for all of our live content is going to be our Twitch channel. Thanks everybody for tuning in. See you in just a little bit for Workout Wednesdays.